welcome to the Not Your Average Knits podcast. This is episode 19. I am kbridgeo. You can find me on Instagram as Not Your Average Knits, Ravelry as kbridgeo, and we have a Ravelry group, Not Your Average Knits. This is probably going to be a fairly quick video. If you watched last episode, we are soon closing on a new condo and are going to be moving. And with the holidays coming up, my spare time is going to be very, very small in order to get some podcasts done. So I wanted to take advantage of some time that I do have and jump on here, show you what I've been up to. Probably won't podcast again before the holidays, but we will kind of see what happens. But anyway, so I'm going to jump right into what have I done. The first thing that I don't remember what I showed you last episode, but I was working on a hat in Knit Picks Fleechy worsted that one of my sister's coworkers wanted to have me make for a Christmas present for her mom. That is in the hopscotch colorway. Hopefully I'm putting a picture. I had to already give it to my sister so that she could hand it over to her coworker. Super easy pattern. It's the bankhead pattern, free, very easy. I used 16-inch circulars and then just kind of magic looped. Even with the 16-inch, I just kind of magic looped on the top to finish the hat. So it was a super quick project that was really fun. I love Fleechy worsted. I mean, the colors just look so pretty. And yeah, really quick project. So the other items, this I'm not sure either if I had started it or not. I think I had said last time that I'm trying to wrap up some projects for the Eat, Sleep, Knit Yarnathon. I want to be able to get some credit for some final items and get some store credit and points for my team. So these are kind of the last few things that I wanted to work on before the end of the year. So this is knit in Malabrigo Chunky and their Malanga colorway. I had made a hat a couple months ago in that same colorway and loved it. So you can just see like how really variegated the colors are, and some of the areas are really bright, like where the pinks are, but like the navy blues and kind of the creams really sort of tone it down. I just really love this. This is the One Row Hand Spun Scarf by Stephanie Pearl McPhee, and I think it really shows up well in a heavier weight yarn, and just looks really cool, variegated too. So I'm not even really sure what this is going to be for. I sort of have it available if anyone's looking to, friends and family, if they're looking for kind of last minute Christmas gifts for friends and family, or I don't know. So this is complete. One of the other things that I was working on, again, for Eat, Sleep, Knit, one of the badges is to complete 3 hats, and I've done 2 hats so far. One hat so far in their yarn, but one of my whips is another hat. But so this is the second one. This is in Malabrigo Rios, which is their worsted weight, in the Cloud Sunshine colorway. It's an interesting color. It's very, it's definitely darker than what the camera's showing. It's a grayish purple. Sometimes it looks gray, sometimes it looks purple. This pattern is the Cozy Head Happy Head by Hohi Locatelli. Again, pretty easy, a fairly simple repeat, really good crown decreases. This one, similarly, I did on a circular needle and then kind of just magic looped the top to finish up. Yeah, I tend to not really have a lot of double pointed needles, and the ones that I do have are much smaller sizes. So at some point I need to invest in some, but I was getting the magic loop thing down pretty good for kind of closing a hat. It's a little bit annoying, but it did its job and it got the hat completed, which is what's important. So that is the other thing that I've done for knitting. The weaving finished object I'll talk about in a second. I feel like I'll have a new segment for weaving, since that will soon be my new obsession. So last week I think I showed this in progress. This is the his birthday scarf, and I'm knitting this in Knit Picks Capra DK. This color is Caviar. It's very much a it's dark, a gray, like a taupey gray color. Pretty easy, not too difficult of a repeat. I'm at the point now where I know where I am and I don't have to look at the pattern anymore, but it took a little while to kind of remember. Kind of has a seed stitch base and then these kind of stockinette columns and reverse stockinette rows. So it's fun. It's a good project. One of my nieces is giving this to one of her friends for Christmas. So it needs to be done soon. But that will be kind of the primary thing that I work on from this point on. So the other thing, like I was saying, is I need to finish 3 hats for Eat Sleep Knit. So I had one additional skein of that same kbridgeo chunky in Malanga. This hat is the chunky waffle hat, bulky waffle hat, something like that. Just kind of a basic 2x2 rib pattern with sort of some knit rounds and purl rounds in there to kind of make that texture. This one also I'm doing on longer cord to do magic loop, which again I don't love. It's kind of annoying, but you do what you got to do to get things done. Also, what I want to show, because it's in my bag right now, so one of the things that I got this week, finally, so Steel City Stitcher, what did I do with her card? Roberta. So she makes these, what she calls ball sacks, and they're these cute little bags. I got the Game of Thrones themed one, of course. But they're just, and I'm sure you've seen these from other podcasters, a lot of people have these. So it's just a super small bag that you can put your yarn ball or cake in, and then the middle snaps, and then the yarn can just come up through the center, or, you know, if you have 2 ends going for whatever reason, you can have 2 coming. And it's just nice. So then, you know, the yarn doesn't roll around and you can kind of keep it in a bag without it getting tangled with the project. So I just got this the other day. I'd kind of been wanting one for a really long time and I always sort of miss her updates. And now she's doing a lot of Christmas ones and I sort of wanted something that wasn't Christmas, but didn't want to be patient for her to do other ones that are non-Christmas, but she happened to still have this in her shop. So I swiped that. So I'm super excited about that. So that's both of what I'm doing. Let me show you what else I got this week. I don't think I showed you this last week. Again, I jumped on here so quick to do a podcast that I didn't really look back at the last episode I did, all over the place. But so this yarn is from Dragon Horde Yarns. Maybe I did show this, but whatever, I'll show it again. Girls in the Yarn Cafe. This is Tristan, and this is her yarn line. I did, because I remember I was telling you about the Comfort Fade Cardi and whether I was going to use this color or not. Oh well, we'll look at it again because it's beautiful. 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon, 245 yards, and it's her Feyra colorway, F-E-Y-R-A. She may be putting more of these in the shop. I think she's doing a big update again on Friday. She also just did some Wicked themed yarns, like a sock kit from some of sort of the songs from the musical Wicked. I've resisted so far, but some of them are so pretty, and I love things that are like themed with things that are special to me. But anyway, that was one of the things I got that maybe you've already seen. This I'm pretty sure you haven't seen yet. So if you remember, I won a 3-month subscription to October House Fiber Arts Yarn Club. So this is the what month are we in? December. So if you haven't received your December one and you're a member of the sock club there, don't look. So this is on a different base. So this is her Ramble Sock Limited base. It's 75% superwash blue face Leicester and 25% nylon, 460 yards. And this colorway is London Calling, and I already know the camera's probably not going to show it very well. It's a really interesting kind of like a gray, sage, and brown. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's really pretty. It's very, subtle, but I like it a lot. So, super excited about that one. Okay, then the big thing that I got is my loom. So I talked last week. I ordered a Shot Flip 15-inch rigid heddle loom. Had been kind of looking at them for a while, and kind of was debating which ones to get, kind of looked at different reviews on YouTube, and there's a Facebook group for other people who have rigid heddle looms, so I learned a lot from people on there who are super helpful. If any of you are watching, hi to my new loom friends. So it finally came in the mail yesterday. I did take some video clips sort of the unboxing and, a few videos of the first few stages of me attempting to weave. So I will insert, this is future me, I guess that's old me. I'll put those videos in right now. So look what's here, everyone. It's my loom. So excited about this. I've been obsessed with looking at things online. It's pretty light. I was actually surprised at how light it was. Oh, more things in the box. So yeah, I've been trying to really learn as much as I can. I bought a couple craftsy classes on Black Friday when they were super cheap. So yeah, all right, so I'm gonna unpack all this, try to set it up, and I'll keep you posted. I'll do a couple clips of my first attempt. I'm gonna do a project with Knit Picks Felici, just because I don't have to wind the ball, and I'm kind of curious like what it will look like in that. The kind of heddle that I got is mainly just for fingering weight yarns, since I have a lot of that in my stash, but I'm definitely going to invest in more of these that are appropriate for heavier weight yarns as well. But anyway, just wanted to show you, I'm super excited. Here is my loom kind of opened up and unfolded. So again, this is the shocked 15-inch flip. So it actually folds so you can take it with you. But so I unfolded it, put on the heddle, which is what the yarn gets kind of thread through to do the weaving. I really like it so far. I mean, I love that it fits right on this coffee table, which is exactly what I'm going to be using it on. You can also kind of put it in your lap and lean it. I will, obviously see kind of how that feels. But there were so many of these to choose from. So this is, the type is kind of called a rigid heddle loom, which is very different from kind of like a big floor loom that you would use for like blankets and tapestries and those kinds of things. But I'm really glad that I went with this brand. The wood is just a really nice color, and it's super soft, and like all the edges are just really curved. It came built, which was a bonus, even though I do like building things, and kind of came with all of the different supplies. So I'm super excited about it so far. Just kind of need to, like I said, I had got a craftsy video, so I'm just going to kind of review that again to make sure I fully understand how to get the yarn set up on this. You do kind of need to buy paper that sort of goes kind of in between the different layers of yarn before you weave the yarn, just to sort of make sure that all of the threads kind of stay flat and don't twist and kind of tangle in on itself. So some people just use like craft paper. Okay, everybody, I'm officially weaving. I'm not doing a whole great job. My edges look really crappy. I had a very difficult time getting all of those warp threads on. But, I mean, hey, it's woven fabric. It'll take practice. Again, this yarn is Felici in the steamer trunk colorway. It's fun. I like it. It definitely hurts my back, so I have to figure out a good table to use it on. And I need to just make sure to get up and stretch every now and then. But it's fun. I'm super psyched. More to come. Bye. Okay, so it was an experience. So it's really hard to what they call setting up the warp. So if you imagine a scarf, especially a woven scarf, there's going to be the length of the scarf, which is the yarn threads going up and down, and then the horizontal ones, which are you actually weaving within those kind of vertical threads. So setting up the length of whatever you're making and creating enough tension and, enough of the threads across to create the width that you want of the item that you're making is the worst. Like it's what takes a long time, and everyone says that like it takes hours just to kind of set up that piece. And then once you're actually weaving, it goes pretty quickly. So doing that for the first time was a bit of a challenge, and I actually did it a few times. So I think the hardest thing for me, so a lot of people who tend to just weave buy yarns that come in cones. So if you've ever seen sort of cones of yarn, that tends to be what people use it for, is for weaving. So it has lots and lots of yardage on it. So you just sort of decide what length and width you want of something and then just go, because the cone's going to have enough to kind of fit that purpose. And there's tons of like calculators and stuff out there that sort of say, if you want something this big and this wide, this is how many yards you need. But I'm kind of working it backwards. As a knitter, I have all of this yarn in my stash, and there's only so many yards per skein. And so it's kind of figuring out, given the amount of yardage I have, what size am I going to end up with. So the project I was working on, hold on, let me get the band. Okay. I wanted to use Knit Picks Felice fingering that I have. So one more thing too, so I may have said this in the clips I just showed, but you have to get sort of different, they're called different heddles depending upon what width, what thickness of yarn you want to use. The one that I ordered with the loom is one specific for fingering weight. I just have a lot of that in my stash, and I kind of like the fabric of fingering weight more. I will probably get ones for like DK and worsted as well eventually, but I don't want to spend tons of money right now, but eventually I will probably do that. Anyway, so also I didn't have the desire to wind any yarn. So what I did was just I had 2 skeins of Knit Picks Felice, and this is the steamer trunk colorway. Oh, my camera has bad zoom. So I had 2 skeins of that, and I had seen a couple projects on Ravelry where people used 2 skeins and made a decent sized scarf. The challenge, though, like I kind of said, is that at the same time you're measuring the length, you're also determining what the width is going to be. So I was hoping that I could do that sort of setup with just one skein and then do the other weaving with the other skein. But every time I started to set it up, I was running out of that first skein. So twice I had to kind of undo it and make the length a little bit shorter, make the width a little bit shorter. So, I mean, it's going to take a lot of practice to kind of figure out with certain yarns that I think I will use regularly to make things, what kind of that perfect length and width is for the yardage that I have. So that was a little bit of a struggle, but obviously the practice makes perfect, and the more times I do it, I'm sure I'll figure it out. Plus, a lot of it is based on tension and kind of how tight the threads are kind of held, and then also how tight you actually weave the fabric. Even just looking at the finished object, which I will show you momentarily, when I started, I had a much looser tension because I was kind of going slower and trying to figure it out. And by the end, my weave was kind of packed together a lot more tightly, which is fine. I still need to kind of wash it. Similar to kind of blocking, in knitting, in weaving, you don't really kind of stretch the finished fabric. Weaving actually has the opposite effect because the project is under such tension the whole time. When you kind of take it off, it shrinks back up, and then the yarn kind of relax and will bloom a little bit. So at the same time, like, you're blooming and it's shrinking. So it's going to take a while too, I think, to sort of, after I wet finish it, to kind of see what the result looks like, and then I'll have to kind of adjust my tension and stuff like that. For this project, I just kind of wanted to finish something and take it off the loom, and then just kind of go from there and get better and more precise. But I just wanted to get through one thing. So I think that's mostly kind of the gist of what I got going. So I will show you my finished one. I didn't do anything to the fringe yet. I just kind of left the fringe on the bottom. A lot of people will get like fringe twisters and kind of make like braids on the bottom, just so that like the fringe doesn't really like felt or get too kind of fuzzy. But for that, I don't even think I'm giving this away or anything. I might maybe give it to my dad just because he helped pay for my loom for my birthday. So we'll see. We'll see what it looks like when it's wet finished. So this is it. I mean, from the back, like, it looks pretty good from there. If you look close, it's so not good. But it doesn't look too bad from there. Oh, my little fringe on the bottom. Oops, wrong end.
So it's kind of cool because you can see, let me show you like one of the colored areas that I like. So it's neat because the vertical ones you can see, so steamer trunk, as you know, Felici is self-striping. So it, the pattern of the colors in these vertical stripes are sort of the nature of Felici. But then if you look at the lines that go across, like in this one, you can see that the lines across are like the maroon color all the way across. But then that stripes too, because then this stripe of the weaving going this way got to the brown part of the self-striping, and then the white part of the self-striping, and the tan part of the self-striping. But yet you see the self-striping go that way too. So it's kind of fun. So I do like how this came out. I mean, I like these colors. Oh, it's kind of fun. Now, if you look close, so one of the hardest things is the edges. So can you see how, let's show you this one. Oh, no, wait. See how like totally chunky these edges are? So like when you're weaving, you're actually kind of wrapping the yarn around this edge. If you wrap it too tight, this happens and it like puckers and pulls in. If you wrap it too loose, let me show you the very beginning because those ones were so bad. See all these, you can even see how loose these little loopy things are right here? Actually on both sides. So I mean, like this edge was like, look at how bad that is. That's so loose on this edge. So it just takes a little while to kind of figure out, and I wasn't even consistent across. I mean, you can see all of these, like how bumpy it is all the way down. Now, wet finishing, I think, does loosen that up a little bit. So I'll have to see how much it loosens up. And then you can also see areas where, see how like, you can see these little horizontal, oh, I can't do left, the mirrored nature of doing podcasts kills me. Those little horizontal lines that kind of pop out. So that is it. So when you're weaving, you have a section of threads that are high and a section that are low. And that's kind of what allows you to do that sort of over, under, because then you switch the direction of those and go back the other way. So it's essentially kind of going over and under every single thread. But sometimes when those threads separate, there might be one that doesn't kind of push itself all the way down or all the way up. So when you put your yarn through, it catches that one thread on the wrong side than where it's supposed to be. So those are actually called floats. So it means one's kind of hanging out on top of the fabric that shouldn't have been. Like the horizontal yarn should have actually gone over it and accidentally it went under it. There are tons of patterns where you intentionally do that. You change the number of threads that you go over and under to make all these gorgeous patterns, which of course I'm definitely going to try. But these are all accidental floats. But again, it was just sort of me getting used to the whole project. So here it is, my very first woven item. I feel like it will be something where, because it does take so much setup, and I have to because you're sitting the whole time, I had to make sure I got up and walked around a lot. When I knit, I'm like laid back on the couch and kind of like comfortable with my feet up. And for this, I was actually doing it on my coffee table, and my coffee table's lower, so it's not even like I could like tuck my legs under a table and do it. I had to lean forward a lot. They do have stands, but the stands are really expensive, and I'm just not gonna be at the place where I'm gonna afford that right now. But I think when we do move, right now our dining room table's taken apart, but I think I'll probably sit at that table, because then I can get a lot closer, put my legs under the table and get closer to do it. You can also kind of lean it sort of in your lap and lean it up against a table. But I tried that a little bit, and it was a little awkward, because I mean, it's not tiny. Like a 10-inch one, you could probably do that fairly comfortably. Mine's 15 inches, so it's pretty big. I mean, relative to putting it in your lap, it's pretty big. So it was just kind of getting used to that. Like I definitely, my back was sore a lot from leaning over, and then I actually got this weird bruise thing on my arm because it's a wood loom, so like as my hands were I just kind of kept hitting one of the rods. So it was an experience, let me tell you. But yeah, so I think that's what I was saying. So I'll probably do it where it will tend to be more of a weekend thing. I'll stick to knitting during the week, on weeknights, and then on the weekend when I have kind of more time, because it does take a few hours to set up the project, and then once it's out, it's kind of out. Like the one I got, you can, even when there's a project on it, you can fold it and kind of put it somewhere. But I feel like it's, I would want it to kind of be out the whole time if I'm working on something. So I think I will definitely do the weaving projects on the weekends, and then knit during the week. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, right now I'm just kind of testing out a bunch of things. Let me show you. Pause. I have to go get a yarn. Okay. So I think my next project, even though I'm a little hesitant to use really good yarn on this yet because I'm still not so good at it, but whatever. I want to try with the yarn that I have and love the finished projects regardless. So this is yarn that I think I can't remember if I got it in a subscription club. I was a member of Post-Stitch for a while. I don't know if it was that or if I just bought this. I might have just bought this. So this is from Ethereal Fibers. She is Ethereal Fibers on Etsy. And this is her Nebula sock in merino cashmere nylon 80-10-10. And it was part of Christmas series, and I think I got it last Christmas. And this colorway is Snow and Coal. It's really pretty. I mean, the base is kind of white and gray with these black speckles. And what I'm excited about, so a lot of people had used Madeline Tosh, her like optic colorways, where like the base is very much like a lighter color and then just like, like little splashes of the dark black, or just other colors. So I feel like this colorway might do that a little bit. Once I wind it, I'll have to see. But I have a feeling this will give a little bit of, like, it's going to look like the base of the weave is mostly this white and gray. And then I think you'll see like crisscrosses of black, because the black sections going this way will have chunks of black going down. And then as you weave this way, it's going to have kind of the chunks of the black going across. So I think it'll look really neat with kind of crisscrosses of the black on a white and gray base. So we'll see. I was just kind of trying to find yarn that I thought would look interesting, to just give a try. So we'll see. So I need to wind this, and really, given what I discovered in Felici, probably make the length not too long and get a little bit wider of a width. Again, just to kind of see what 435 yards of an 80-10-10 can get me. And this is a much softer yarn, and just probably is a little bit stickier because of the cashmere. So I don't know. It'll be an experiment. My knitting group is coming over tonight. I may try and put this on the loom while they're here, because there's nothing on it right now since I just took that other scarf off. So they may want to kind of see the experience. So I will probably be winding this up in 4 minutes whenever I'm done here. Anyway, that's it. I know that was super speedy. Wow, I'm under 30 minutes right now, which is crazy. But I just, again, wanted to kind of give you an update, what I've been working on, show you what I've been doing, talk a little bit about my new weaving adventure. And yeah, I mean, this weekend I will be packing. I've kind of been waiting. Like the past couple weekends, I've been a little bit busy. So I have tons of packing to do this weekend. All of my yarn needs to safely go into bins and boxes. And our kitchen, we need to just get all of the dishes out of the cabinets and stuff. And yeah, and then, I mean, it's Christmas Eve that next week, which is crazy, and I have so much packing to do. It's nuts. So yeah, so highly unlikely that I will podcast again before Christmas. Maybe sometime between Christmas and New Year's. My job is off that whole week, and my husband's a high school teacher, so he is off that whole week. But we are closing on the new condo on the 29th, and then we have tons of like painting and things to do before we actually move our stuff in. But I will be home, in this place a little bit that week, so maybe I will try to hop on then, and, see what I've done since then and say hi to everybody. But so Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever all of you celebrate. Hope your holidays are wonderful, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. Keep on knitting. Bye.